My teacher said to me at first, you create Antaiji, and then later it's not about you. And for me, these are kind of the pillars, the founding stones of his teaching. And I try to communicate that to my students as well. Each of you has to create Antaiji, but it's not about you. And another thing that I often told them is you have to grow like cucumbers. In Antaiji, when we grew the cucumbers, we let a piece of thread hang down and plant the small cucumber in the spring under that thread, and it would somehow climb by itself. If it only would have enough water and some nutrients in the summer, you would have delicious cucumbers. And the metaphor stands for, well, the student that grasps the teaching of the Buddha by himself and grows according to that teaching. And I sometimes had the impression that my Japanese students were more like tomatoes, which are also delicious in the summer, but that one piece of thread is not enough. They need a firm construction, and you have to tie them to the construction every couple of days. You have to protect them from the rain. So the Japanese students, they need a lot of attention. And Japanese are usually very good at, well, forgetting themselves, adjusting to the others. They listen to their senpai. So there's not much conflict, but there's not much initiative or ideas. I would want to do it like this or that. And with the Westerners, it's often the other way around. So they are not like tomatoes and also not like cucumbers, rather like pumpkins, I would say. In the beginning, they look like cucumbers, but they grow all over the place. And if you don't take care, they will kind of kill their neighbors. If you grow cucumbers, you have to, well, have 1.5 meters, 2 meters in between them so that they don't fight with each other. So the cucumbers, it's all about them. I create Antaiji, but they forget themselves. And it would be nice to have something in the middle, which is the idea of the cucumber. But the Japanese, they're good at forgetting themselves, but less about I create it. I take responsibility for the whole place. We in the West, we want to take initiative, responsibility, but then we make it all about ourselves.
But then when you have them all together, it creates kind of a very interesting experience, right?
Yes,
because you get the best of both worlds too.
Exactly. But it can also be painful because people clash with each other.
Are there very different ideas of Buddhism and what Buddhism should be when you are at the temple and basically studying the same text and studying the same meditation, where you say that there will be clashes, but is it usually related to basically the ideological things of, oh, we should practice this way or we should meditate this way, or is it more unrelated to the core of what happens at Antaiji?
I wouldn't say it's ideological related to Buddhism. But culture plays a role. Like for Japanese, if it had been done like that last year and 2 years ago and 3 years ago, then we do it the same way this year. While for Western, it's but why? But why? This year, why don't we change things? So a lot of conflict came out of this, that Westerners always wanted to try new things, while the Japanese wanted to stick to tradition. And I had to, try to somehow balance both. I don't want to stick to the old ideas, but if you always try new things, especially I stayed there then for 30 years, but a lot of people, they have new ideas, but then 3 months later they are gone. So if you have a new idea, you also need that commitment that comes with that. And often people had a lot of interesting ideas, but they lacked the commitment. So then I'd say, well, maybe we do it the way we used to do it last year.
And kind of stick to what we can do and what we can
keep
doing for longer.
Exactly.